이 위대한 구원. 크로스포인트 주니어 처치에서 전해드리는 이 시간, 담당의 Darin Pantley 형제입니다.
Greetings. This is Darin Pantley from Crosspoint Bible Church. Back in the day, during the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Nebuzaradan, commander of the imperial guard, an official of the king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and set fire to the temple of the Lord. If you pick up a Bible and turn to 2 Kings chapter 25, you'll find more details. It says, every important building he burned down. The whole Babylonian army, under the commander of the imperial guard, broke down the walls around Jerusalem. So you can imagine, even though the Jews were forced to relocate, they never forgot what happened to Jerusalem that month. Now, if we fast forward through history, we see the Babylonians fall. King Cyrus of Persia let the Jews return to Israel, and King Darius helped the Jews rebuild their temple. It reminds me of the fire that burned at Notre Dame Cathedral in 2019. There was no invading army in that one. The smoke detectors went off, but the people inside wandered around looking for the fire instead of calling the fire department. By the time they confirmed, yep, there's a fire here, it was too late. The fire was growing. In the end, they were able to save most of the cathedral. Both of these events leave us with thoughts to ponder. Why do we build these structures in the first place? What are we supposed to think about when we see them? What is their purpose? The obvious answer is that they're a place to worship God. The Jews had their temple. The Catholics had this cathedral, along with many others. Thousands of church buildings from various Protestant denominations are scattered across America, all claiming to be places where you can go to worship God. And if that's all they are, places where people gather every week, then they're not much more than community centers. Not that there's anything wrong with community centers. It's healthy for people to have a place to belong, a place to make friends, but you don't have to be associated with a religion to do that. If we just see these places as buildings, then even the people who go to them will eventually stop caring about them. What's the point? Why would God want us to occasionally sing songs in specific buildings? Remember those Jews that lost their temple, but then got a chance to rebuild it? During the years in between, they never forgot what happened. Every year they mourned and fasted. Eventually, once the reconstruction was underway, they started to wonder, why are we still mourning and fasting? Do we need to keep remembering the old temple? What are we trying to remember anyways? That God exists? So they had this question. It's spelled out in the book of Zechariah, chapter 7. Should I mourn and fast in the 5th month, as I have done for so many years? And they got an answer from the Lord through the prophet Zechariah. He said, when you fasted and mourned in the 5th and 7th months for the past 70 years, was it really for me that you fasted? And the word of the Lord came again to Zechariah. This is what the Lord Almighty said. Administer true justice. Show mercy and compassion to one another. Do not oppress the widow or the fatherless, the foreigner or the poor. Do not plot evil against each other. His answer shows us that, somewhat ironically, God's focus is not on temples, cathedrals, or churches. His focus is on people. These places of worship are places to focus on God, to focus on who He is, to focus on who He values. He's gathering believers who share the vision, who want to love people, who will be willing to go out and care for others who need it most, both physically and spiritually. So what do you think? Do you share His focus? Will you administer true justice?
지금까지 크로스포인트 주니어 처치에서 전해드렸습니다. 언어와 문화의 장벽을 없애고 실시간 동시 통역이 제공되는 크로스포인트 주니어 처치의 주일 예배 시간은 오전 11시이며 교회에 대한 안내는 847-212-6775로 문의해 주시길 바랍니다.